Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Reverend Richard Burdick, and it's my pleasure and my honor to welcome you to Unity North, a spiritual community, a church, a place where you can come together and you can be yourself. We're all coming together to be ourselves tonight, and I'm just delighted and thrilled to get to be myself along with Lorelei Robbins, who's going to be herself, Michael Burke, who's going to be himself, and we are going to go on an adventure, and we want to invite you into our adventure tonight. We had a little request to maybe do things a little differently tonight, so we're going to go with the flow, and we're going to let Spirit lead us to where we need to go. And I can't think of two people that I'd rather just go on an adventure with and not know where we're going to go, but know it's going to be holy and good and sacred. We are here tonight to celebrate the autumnal equinox. I love saying the word autumnal. The fall equinox. It's a time of shift, a time of revelation, a time of remembrance, a time of 1,000 things. And we're going to walk through those, well, maybe 10 or 12 of those 1,000 things that this time on earth represents to each and every one of us. We're going to do it through poetry. We're going to do it through song. We're going to do it through silence. And Lorelei is just going to be the master that pulls from the cosmos what needs to be revealed here today in her oneness with earth and the stars, the sun and the planets. So it's a wonderful evening. I invite you into that. It's going to be a little bit less a meditation tonight, but more of a meditative dialogue. And so I'm going to begin to slow down my speech a little bit as we prepare to just dialogue with the earth, to dialogue with each other at the level of our heart, at the level of peace, as we celebrate this fall equinox, this autumnal equinox time. I invite you to set aside any preconceived notions of what's going to happen and allow yourself to be fully present. We begin with our first poem that Michael's going to read called Equanimity of Energies.
The equinox is like a reckoning, a beautiful evenness of day and night, an equanimity of energies, a cosmic dance of divine delight. There's a spaciousness that permeates and caresses the symmetry within. We are guided to balance our darkness with the light that we bring in. We are the letters of the words that write the poems that we all know. We are the rhymes that tickle souls from this blessed ebb and flow. So on this sacred day, my friends, be at one with who you are. And that is that you are the essence of all the light from every star. Yes, there is light in every shadow, and every shadow shapes our light. We balance upon this equinox, holy day with hallowed night. Holy day with hallowed night.
Beautiful. Thank you, Michael. And so we're going to walk through the elements. And let's begin with just a place of gratitude. You know, all around the world at this time, people celebrate the harvest. They celebrate the blessings of the summer and the spring that have brought new life, new goodness, new blessings. It's a time of reflection. It's a time of enjoyment, a time to receive the bounty, the harvest of life itself. And so it's a time of celebration. So we allow our minds and our hearts to go to a place of celebration, a place of gratitude, a place of simply saying thank you with a joyful heart. We begin with this song. We thank you for your love, and hold in your mind's eye Mother Earth as she spins around this cosmos. How blessed we are. The bounty that is provided for us. How blessed are we. The fall equinox is a time to slow down and just look. Wow. Wow. We have so much. I invite you to sing these words and to make them your own. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your light. We thank you for the gift of everything in life. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your light. We thank you for the gift of everything in life. We thank the earth. We thank the sky, the moon and stars, the sun that gives us life. We thank the earth. We thank the sky, the moon and stars, the sun that gives us life. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your light. We thank you for the gift of everything in life. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your light. We thank you for the gift of everything in life. So before we move into our first time of stillness and silence and reflection with grateful hearts, Lorelei, you want to add anything to the idea of the harvest time?
Sorry, I forgot. The harvest time. So this is an opportunity for a harvesting where relationship to everything is concerned. Relationship to your own being, to the Lord of your being, to the people in your life, to work, to the car, to the money. There's an opportunity for a greater abundance, a greater prosperity, a greater harvesting of what's always been there, but is illuminated at this time wherever there is imbalance, we can create more balance. We can be more aware of where there may be too much giving, too much receiving, and create a greater inner harvest to be able to create a greater outer harvest.
And so let's enter our first period of reflection with grateful hearts for all that is illuminated during this time in the silence. How beautiful it is to see the trees in all their splendor and color at this time of the year begin the process of letting go, of releasing. What a beautiful time of releasing it is. And as Lorelei beautifully points out, it's not just the trees that are doing this. It's the entire universe doing it. It's an opportunity for each of us to do that letting go, that releasing, so that we become more, to create the void. Lorelei, before we go into our next song, give us a few thoughts about that process.
The process of letting go? Wow. You're talking to someone who's definitely had a journey with that process. This is such a time of being able to really surrender to something higher, to God, to Source, to however we define that which is greater than we are, and to trust that in that place of void, the new will be born even before we have evidence of it, as that beautiful quote of having faith in what's not being seen yet. So by knowing that there are areas in your life where you desire greater balance, greater connection, greater collaboration with your own being, with the beings around you, here's an opportunity to let go of all the old stories, all the old why not, why can't, hasn't happened, and just tabula rasa. This is one of those times of the year, those dynamic energy points of new beginnings. So we surrender into the void, and we trust that in that place of void something new will be born, something new will be spring forth that will be an even greater version of you, of me, of all of us, so that we can be guided how to be now in service to a world that is calling us. As Richard said on Sunday, for such a time as this is why we're here. So to surrender just into that knowing, not knowing what's next, but trusting that in the void, that which is to come will be created in perfect divine timing.
So oftentimes we hear the word surrender, let go, release. You may notice I'm playing a little blues underneath. Oh, we want to do anything but let go. Oh, woe is me, I have to let it go, but it is in the letting go that we become. So, not quite a meditative chant, but an opportunity to really move through the blues and then let the blues go with you. This song is called I Let Go of the Things That Tie Me Down. I let go of the clutter and the chatter. I let go of the things that tie me down. And I let go of the clutter. I let go of the things that tie me down. And I hold on to the things that matter. Holding on to love and letting go of stuff. I'm holding on to God, and I'm knowing that's enough. Join me. I let go of the things that tie me down, of the chatter. I let go of the chatter. And I let go of the things that tie me down, and hold on to the things that matter. Holding on to love. I'm holding on to love. Letting go of stuff. I'm letting go of stuff. Holding on to God. I'm holding on to God. And knowing that's enough. And knowing that's enough. let's join the earth, let's join the trees one more time. And I let go of the things that tie me down. And I let go of the clutter. I let go of the things that tie me down and hold on to the things that matter. Let's enter our second period of reflection and just let it all go. Sing the blues on the inside and then let that go too. And find that place of peace that the trees find, that the earth finds, that we find when we let it all go and surrender. Our second poem is called Impermanence. Let us take it in with a complete and total detachment. Because as the sap flows up and the sap flows down, it will always change. And we can count on that. This is called Impermanence.
The shadow of everything that once was. The visitor who only sipped a little tea. Dead leaves in autumn. Someone who got away, despite begging them to stay. Chipped paint in old walls, butterflies in their cocoon, trends that fill voids of the moment, but leave after they are forgone. Suspended words and whispered talks, a child's wonder, faces with remarked lines, empty laughter turned into glistening tears, flesh to ashes, ashes to flesh, wines in glass bottles, a beginning of everything that is to be, cradle of brighter, better stories to come. As the pieces of long ago are laid to rest.
We've all heard it said the one thing that we can count on is change. We've also heard it said that if you don't like what life is showing you right now and it doesn't feel good, don't worry. It will change. Oh, but if life is perfect in every way, don't worry. It will change. We live in an illusory world, and it's forever shifting and morphing and changing. Nothing stays the same. It is impermanent. We find the ability to simply cooperate with the flow of life and to cherish every moment, knowing that it will change in the next. But the next will bring a gift in of itself. And so we are detached, like a Buddhist monk, to whatever is happening in the moment, in the current and the river of life that flows, knowing we never stand in the same river twice. For every breath, every heartbeat, every thought, every feeling, we're in a new river. Before we sing our next song, Lorelei, do you want to add anything to those ideas of impermanence?
Well, I like the idea of flowing with the river, because in that, again, surrender of trust, of trusting the divine flow to carry us to the next place, it's soothing and it's comforting and it's safe. And even in what seems so impermanent, especially now, things crumbling around us and things that we could count on, we can't count on anymore, and definitions of self that don't make sense anymore, and yet knowing that there is a divine order here, and in everything being turned upside down, it's somehow being turned right side up. And so by trusting the current, by trusting the flow, we really can flow downstream and allow the current, the river, to have its way with us, and thereby trusting that anything can be permanent in its impermanence, and from one breath to the next, from one idea to the next, from one word to the next, and just trusting that we are always held safely in the mind and heart of the divine.
And so in that flow, in that awareness, let us become river-like. Let us become water-like, knowing that we will make our way to where we need to be, home. And that all the stones within that river, we simply flow around them in a place of detachment, in a place of knowing that it's not the same river we stand in, or that we were yesterday. Our next song, by the banks of the river, the water flows home. And by the banks of the river, we transcend the stones. By the banks of the river, the water flows home, and so do I. So do I. During this fall equinox, let us be like the river. By the banks of the river, the water flows home. By the banks of the river, we transcend the stones. By the banks of the river, the water flows home, and so do I. So do I. Sing with me. By the banks of the river, the water flows home. By the banks of the river, we transcend the stones. By the banks of the river, the water flows home, and so do I. So do I. One more time. By the banks of the river, the water flows home. By the banks of the river, we transcend the stones. By the banks of the river, the water flows home, and so do I. So do I. During this time of fall equinox, of impermanence and flow, so do I. So do I. Take that flow into our next period of silence. The fall equinox is a time of balance. And so to prepare for the next poem and the next thoughts, let us simply Om together. For every up, there is a down. For every left, there is a right. For every light, there is a dark. For every out, there is an in. It is all necessary in this great world that is forever finding balance, finding the equanimity. And so our next poem, and then Lorelei will comment. This poem is called Seesaw, ups and downs and everything in between.
What blessings appear for me to see all come down to what I saw. Is perception a gift of recollection? Can truth be seen by its own inception? Do I produce what I create, or am I created by what I produce? Does a revelation actually reveal, or am I revealed by the revelation? For in getting to know myself, I must let go of myself. All that I know that's related to vision conjures upon me a state of division. The painting is done before I begin, but it's up to me. It's up to me how the colors come in. For to see is all about what I draw from what it is I think I saw. Is a moment of divine clarity a clearer perception of this painted confusion? Do my mirrors somehow become windows? And are the windows part of the illusion? I don't have to see through to see within, but I must go within to see through. I believe the answer to who am I lies in the question, who are you? Why did I draw you into my life, and why did you draw me in yours? Is it to show that our happily ever afters are actually all happily ever befores? I'm a child on both sides of a seesaw. As one goes up, the other goes down. And through a repeating point of balance, a constant comes around. And that is that I can truly trust this child in my playground, who knows that balance is not only something searched for. Balance Balance is something constantly found.
The fall equinox is an opportunity for a greater understanding of balance and harmony and homeostasis, and sometimes what feels like just a fleeting moment. For that fleeting moment, things feel okay. You feel content inside. There's an inner balance, and then all of a sudden in the next couple of breaths there's a offsetting of that balance. And so the dance that we do is with everything, everyone that comes into our life, every single opportunity to come back to that place of balance, to come back to that place of inner harmony and inner resolution, knowing that no one has crossed our path by accident. And as the Course in Miracles says, when you meet anyone, it is a holy encounter. As you see him, you will see yourself. As you think of him, you will think of yourself. As you believe about him, you will believe about yourself. Never forget this, for in him you will lose yourself and find yourself.
So consider in our next period of silence that we as a human race, losing ourselves in each other, that's a necessary process to bring balance to the human race, just as the whole planetary existence finds balance and harmony. It seeks it. It allows it. That ours is to do the same. When we encounter those people that think differently, feel differently, act differently, let us envelop each other in our differences, and to know that like on a seesaw, up and down, we are finding the space, the place, and the being of balance in the silence. Mother Earth knows exactly when it is time to retreat and to step back. All creation knows when it is time to step back, to breathe, to reflect, and to be still. And she goes into a state of hibernation, an internal world of connection, an internal world of rest. And the word we use in religious circles is the word Sabbath. Mother Earth knows Sabbath. Oh, but how often do we forget that we need that same cycle, not just yearly, oh, but we need it moment to moment, that time of reflection where all we know is God. All we know is source, is love, his life, free from the outside world of distractions. And as the world gets cold, we are all driven inside our homes. But can we be driven inside our hearts and our spirits into a place of oneness with God? In doing so, we cooperate with the entire earthly existence. I rest in God. God rests in me. I rest in comfort and in peace. I rest in God. God rests in me. I rest in comfort and release. Take these words with me as we create just right now in this moment a place of Sabbath, a place of inner connection. I rest in God. God rests in me. I rest in comfort and in peace. I rest in God. God rests in me. I rest in comfort and release. Once more. I rest in God. God rests in me. I rest in comfort and in peace. I rest in God. God rests in me. I rest in comfort and release. The sweet feeling of Sabbath. The sweet feeling of retreat. The sweet exhale of our souls in the sweet essence of rest.
The sweet silence of sound. There is no wrong way to enter into silence. Of all the transitions in our lives, the segue into silence is one of the most divine. Our ability to enter the flow from the stream of eternal consciousness is constantly connected in our subconsciousness. To enter into silence is to awaken inside an infinite gift. And silence doesn't necessarily mean no sound. Silence is a state of grace that exists within us. It is the sound. It is the sound of our spiritual core. And each of us has a unique song that brings us to a state of inner peace and outer bliss. Or inner bliss and outer peace. It really doesn't matter. Semantics are irrelevant in this realm, at this stage of existence. And at this stage of existence, everything is interchangeable. Everything. One cannot exist without the other. It is a balance between all energies. It's like we're on a great seesaw going back and forth. between being and not being, between coming into life and coming out of life. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. The perfect balance. And balance. Well, balance always takes two until balanced. Then there is one sound from which emerges all sound, and all sound was once in silence. The silence of sound. I love the oral ecstasy of divine dichotomy. By being still and silent, we are in motion and singing. We are constantly moving as vibrational stillness. Waves of matter coming to an active rest. Emptying our fullness till we are literally full of emptiness. And this emptiness is full of grace, full of peace, full of God. We are the ethereal emptiness of divine fullness, a divine wholeness. And wholeness, complete wholeness, lay within each scattered part. We are stones skipping over the waters of our soul, eventually submerging into complete silence, as a song of Solomon on the lips of Mother Mary, as she whispers words of wisdom to each and every one of us. The silence of sound.
Such a paradox, sound and silence. This time of fall equinox is an amazing paradox because there is movement in stillness. There is letting go in receiving. There is stability in transition. There is celebration in surrendering. What a complex time that we are in right now, a time of transition. And so I'll let the Master of Transition speak to this great paradox on earth.
So, what will you transition into at this time, this portal, this gateway that we are all being ushered through now? It's like, again, standing on a hilltop, looking down at everything you've ever been, everything you've ever done, anything that has contributed to who you are now, and blessing all of it, and receiving all of it and then letting go of whatever weighs you down, whatever feels when the balance is off. And as you lighten your load of letting go of the old perceptions, the old ideas, the old stories, the old ways of being, there is new balance to be found. There is new balance, new connection, and a union, a reunion with self, with God, to step again through this gateway, through this portal, into the next adventure of being more you than ever before, finding more of an internal balance between all of the opposites, and just continuing to walk, knowing that the divine presence is with you and gracing you every single step of the way.
And so as we begin to bring our time of reflection to a conclusion, let us be open to change, to shift, to become, to explore, to adventure. These and 1,000 more things that are asking for expression through you and as you, as a vital component in the entire cosmos that's asking you to cooperate with them. And in this movement we awaken. We awaken fully to the vast miracle of love made manifest in all creation. And we are changed at depth. Make that vow and that pledge to change at depth with our final song. And then we'll leave the silence and come back to this time and place more fully who we are and more fully as a member of this magnificent planetary family. I am awakening. I am awakening. I am awakening to love. And I am changing. And I am changing. Yes, I am changing, and I am changing. Yes, I am changing. I am awakening. I am awakening. I am awakening to love. And so bring one idea back to your life, back to your experience on earth. One idea that's been shared here tonight, and to own it, to embrace it, to claim it as your own, and then to live it and breathe it with every moment of your existence. And then look at the eyes of God that sees the miracle of that cooperation. Cooperation with the planets, the stars, the sun, the moon, and all creation. And know that you are playing your part in the becoming of what can be. Heaven on earth. Let's breathe together once more. And on the exhale, simply release what isn't needed or necessary. And on the inhale, own what is. And as you gently come back into an awareness of where we are right now, where you are right now, join me in going back to where we started our journey with gratitude for Michael Burke and what he brings to the planet, for Lorelei Robbins and what she brings to the planet. Take a moment to put your hand upon your heart and say, I'm grateful for what I bring to the planet. I'm necessary, I'm worthy, I'm valuable, and I'm important. And let's continue to dance together, all of us playing our role. So I hope that what we have done here this evening, we didn't know exactly where it was going to go, but we went. And we went where we were led. And so we thank you for going with us tonight. If it had value to you, I'm going to invite you to express your gratitude in one form or another. Certainly offer a blessing to everybody else who's watching right now. But you can text to give. It's very simple. It's very easy. And it really makes a difference to this community that needs those offerings in order to continue to do the great work that we are doing. You can mail in a check. You can offer an offering on Facebook. There's 1,000 different ways to give, but find the way that works for you to give and to know that you are part of the cycle, part of a flow. We're going to be back together real soon. I want to let you know a couple of things coming up. The first time we're definitely going to be back together is on, I think, the 21st of October. And there's 4 Wednesday nights in a row where you're going to be invited into the room to be in this space as we hold sacred peace for our planet, for our government, for our country, for ourselves, and for our church. 4 vigils in a row devoted to the divine idea of peace. And we're going to surround that electoral process in peace. And I invite you to stay tuned and be able to sign up quickly because space will be limited for those 4 Wednesday nights. We're looking at maybe 60, 65 people in the room to begin to get our toe into the water, and I hope you will take part in that. If you are dying to be in person and you don't mind being outside, we're outside every single Sunday morning at 9 o'clock at the Labyrinth. It's a wonderful time. No need to register for that. Just come on out, bring your chair, and an open heart. And the last thing I want to tell you before we move on is that next week is a very special week to me. It's something's going to be happening. Reverend Linda Herzer and Gabrielle Claiborne are going to be here. Many, many months back, I took a class trying to enlighten and engage my mind in how to be an ally, an advocate for transgender people. And I sat at the feet of these 2 masters. They were brilliant. And they introduced me to a whole world I had no concept of. And they helped me and guided me how to be a more loving human being, how to be a more loving man, how to be a more loving spiritual being. And they're going to be with me next Wednesday night. And so they'll be sitting right where Michael and Lorelei are right now, and they have a fantastic presentation that proves that the idea of transgender people is not only biblical, but it is natural. And it is a part of our existence. And so I invite you, if that challenges you, I think that you need to be tuning in next week. And you're welcome to come into the room. If you celebrate these ideas and the truth of God found in all people, I think it's the right time for you to tune in as well. Please join us next Wednesday night. But right now, I thank you for joining us this evening. I thank you. And any closing thoughts, Michael or Lorelei, you want to just say to the people watching right now?
I want to thank Lorelei for being here tonight. I love doing service with her here. It's quite magical. Thank you.
Well, how perfect for 2 Libras to be talking on the fall equinox. Just to walk with greater trust and conviction and compassion in your life now, knowing that balance is in here, and when we see it in here, we will feel it out there.
Beautiful words to take us on our journey. As you go into the world today, look with the eyes of gratitude. And look at this magnificent home, this magnificent earthly home, and all of the magic and mystery that's happening all around us. And just stop, breathe, look at the colors, feel the breeze, feel the chill, and allow yourself to be one with all of it. We end the song, and I thank you for the love you give to me. Sing it to Mother Earth, sing it to anybody, and the love that you let me be. And I thank you, yes, I thank you for the love you give to me. And I thank you, yes, I thank you for the love you let me be. And I thank you. I'll see you all on Sunday morning and next Wednesday online. Have a beautiful evening and a fantastic autumnal equinox. Good night, everyone.